gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for June 26, 2024 for the next hour or so. Let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Miyazaki said it would break Elden Ring if they made it easier. So today, they announced that they're breaking Elden Ring. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James, everybody. Lucy, how's it going?
Hasn't everyone just considered getting good?
I mean, come on, I got plenty of get good left over here, so I'm settled. You know, actually, I haven't even tried using that stuff when I'm playing Elden Ring. So it's like, I got this as a bit, and then I didn't do it.
You could always try it. I mean, if you get, it's probably, if Game Scent is going to get you sick, then I don't have good feelings about
No, this
get
is the
good.
cure. This is the antidote to Game Scent, I believe. This is what's going to heal all that ails me.
Like killing everything in your nose, and so nothing can, no particles can ever be absorbed ever again.
Foolproof plan, absolutely. I really, what it is I've been good enough so far, except for now I did a bunch of other bosses. I did some main bosses, and then I wrapped back around and finally did the one I probably should have done a long time ago, which was Mesmer the Impaler, and I'm stuck on him now. So
oh yeah, I got stuck on him, and then I went back, and I haven't beaten him yet, but I went and I started doing someone's what is it, like quest, so I can get an NPC summon for it.
Oh.
So I will see. If
did I kill that guy? Chad, is that who I killed?
Did he kill him?
I hope. I think I thought he helps with a different thing. Maybe I haven't killed that NPC yet.
Guy did you kill?
I killed Igon.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think he helps with Bale. So, all right, cool.
Is he the guy who you find lying on the ground who's going,
Yeah, he's having a real moment. I thought I was doing the guy a favor.
Him? Because you thought he was dead. He should die.
Content, I think, mostly. But then, it always backfires because then I kill him and then everyone in chat gets mad at me. And I'm like, why? Listen, to be fair, I didn't know. I did. There's just a guy whining. I've killed so many of these dudes buckled over in misery in this game. What's another one? I had a good time.
Poor man. He's just, Bale.
Not poor man anymore. And I'm fucking worm food now. How are you doing otherwise, Lucy James? Are you still sticking with Elden Ring? Is that what you're playing mostly right now?
Oh, I'm playing so many games.
That's right. We were talking the podcast yesterday. You had like 10 games. Yeah.
Yeah. I recorded Friends per Second last night as well, and Ralph was like, literally the only game I've played is Elden Ring. And I was like, don't worry, the gamer is here. I've been playing a lot, so no, I'm now going to be doing Elden Ring and Still Wakes the Deep. I want to finish this week, but I've got a guest arriving tonight for the next few days, so who knows.
Do you always feel like your house is ready for a guest, or do you have to do a lot to get it ready? I'm like, oh my god, I have to do so much
because I've been traveling so much. I did a deep clean at the weekend. I made a spreadsheet about all the chores that I have to do.
Oh, yeah.
So today's chores, the final ones, I have to change the sheets. I have to change the cat litter, take out the bins, one final whiz around with the vacuum, and most importantly, get some wine.
You know what? Can I just have that spreadsheet? That sounds very useful.
Yeah, it's got different views based on days.
Hell yeah. Okay, well, that's what I need.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. But no, and so Ben and I have had we had like the most British argument ever the other day, like on the phone, where he was like, well, I'll sleep on the couch. And I was like, no, you will not. You will have my bedroom. And he's like, no. I was like, I've got a blow-up bed. It's fine. He's like, well, I'll sleep on the blow-up bed. And I was like, no, you will not. And then he went, but I insist. And I was like, I insist. That's how you know. It's going to be great.
I assumed that it didn't even get that heated. It was very much like that Eddie Izzard British actor scene where it's like, oh,
yes.
Should I? No,
please.
Maybe
Maybe.
I should go.
But yeah.
Yes, that sort of thing.
I hit him with an I insist with a firm tone. But he's bringing me chocolate and Marmite, so he's good.
Well, what is the problem? You got Hershey bars here. What do you need that for?
Absolutely not. They taste like vomit.
Yeah, that's the butric acid. Apparently, it makes it taste sweeter, but it's the
Is
same
that what
stuff.
that is?
It's literally
Putric acid.
It's close. It's butric with a B, but it
Oh,
does sound that way.
butric.
But literally, this basically the same chemical that is in vomit. So
Great.
yeah, that really
Great.
turned me off of chocolate when I started putting that together. When I was born into it, I didn't notice, and then started talking to you freaks, and you're all like, "This tastes like that." I'm like, no, what are you talking about?
No.
I shouldn't have looked into it. All right. Let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, and I should put up the headlines. There we go. Well, yeah, so let's start the morning mess with FromSoftware just made the Elden Ring DLC a little bit easier. This is from Ollie Welsh at Polygon. FromSoftware has released a surprise mini patch, or a calibration update, as it's calling it, for Elden Ring that should ease the steep difficulty challenge posed by its new expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree. The patch adjusts the way the way Shadow Realm blessings, a crucial character advancement system in the DLC, will scale. These are the skibbity tree fragments. The blessings increase the attack and defense of characters, and their spirit summons through the collection of skidoo tree fragments and revered spirit ashes. FromSoftware, yeah, go ahead.
They're apparently pronounced shadow.
Shadow, yeah. Because it's because it's a shadow tree, yes. But it's I see it, I'm like,
I want that.
FromSoftware says it has increased the value of the blessings for the first half of players' progress and then made progression for the second half more gradual. The final level of enhancement has also been upped slightly. Basically, they're just kind of moving around the curve to give more players more progression early on so they can feel like they are seeing a bigger improvement. This makes some sense to me. That sounds about right. I think people were like, just go get those blessings, those fragments, and that'll make the game easier. But it's like, actually, it's you're still gonna probably struggle with a lot of things, even if you get a lot of those blessings. So moving up some of that stuff a little bit earlier and into it makes a lot of sense to me. And this is the kind of thing that they have done in the past. I think Radon in the base Elden Ring, right? He was very, very difficult, and they nerfed him eventually. They dial these things in to where they actually want them to be for most players, and it's got to be a challenge to do that before they launch the game, right?
100%. I don't know. Radon wasn't that hard. Like, but then again, my build was weird. Like, I didn't have issues with this. Like, I didn't have issues with Radon or the Fire Giant, which a lot of people did have issues. I'm trying to find VG247's. Oh, VG247 did a great tweet, which was Elden Ring balance update makes the first half of the DLC easier, so you don't have to be as good as Games Jam.
There it is. Yeah, that's there's a mod that's going around that has a games journalist mode in it that makes everything 50% like less damage or something like that. And it's like, what are you talking about? They're the ones that beat the game before it was out, without any guides. Whatever. I get the joke, but at a certain point, like I don't think you get to make the joke with this one. This is the one you actually don't get to do that with. Shadow of the Erdtree, you're right. I'm mostly finding it to be just fine. I haven't installed this patch yet. While I am stuck on Mesmer, I will see how I feel about that if I have another.
See if you haven't killed that guy.
Yes. Let's see if I go through another, 30, 40 tries and I feel like I'm not making any progress. We'll see. I am at like level 10, I think, on my shadow tree blessings.
Skidoo trees, skibbity
toilet trees. How many total are there? Like, how many total levels is there? I know there's 50 fragments.
I don't know, because doesn't it? Some of it, it's 20.
It's 20. Okay.
No. Sorry, it's 2 fragments for a bit, and then does it get to 3?
It gets to 3, and it stays at 3 apparently.
So I don't know. People are saying 20. So when I said 20 accidentally, then I was right.
That sounded right. Okay, so then I am like halfway there then. So I wonder if it probably would make a big difference if I did do the update. I don't know. I think I'll just beat Mesmerized. I had him, of course. He was right there, almost dead several times now. and I was in the bozo choke zone, and I just messed up, and yeah. So I don't know. I kind of want to stick with it and beat that one raw dog. Overall, though, the games, the conversation feels like we'll get past this patch. People will be like, okay, is it easier? Whatever. We'll get past this, and now this conversation is going to be a lot, like pretty much behind us, right? Like it always is with these games, where the difficulty conversation is all people could talk about in the first couple of days, and now we're going to get a little bit past that at this point, right?
We'll revisit it when it comes to Game of the Year.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like something else, people will think about something else for a little bit, and then Game of the Year, it'll come back around. Yep. Somehow the discourse has returned.
Always does. Let's see if there's any other, like, the further balance changes and bug fixes will be coming in a future patch, FromSoftware said. So this is really just all about the difficulty. Yeah. People, also are complaining about some performance issues, although I continue to mostly not experience that, but on Steam Deck.
I also have not experienced it. I'm playing on my NZXT PC.
Yeah, well, the 4090 will help with that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right, so let's move ahead here to, you heard about this Dr. Disrespect? He's out there doing his thing, unfortunately.
I don't think he's an actual doctor.
I think that there might be some invalidity to that claim that he is a doctor. He admits to inappropriate messaging with a minor. This is from Ethan Gotch at Kotaku. Guy, Dr. Disrespect Beam, who has broken his silence on allegations that he was banned from Twitch in 2020 for allegedly sexting a minor. The famous streamer admitted to the incident, but said there was no real intentions behind these messages and claimed nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual, he said. He did not share that, allegedly, according to Twitch employees, he was in conversation to say, hey, what are you doing at TwitchCon? So they stepped in before that happened. So, of course, he didn't meet her because people stopped him from meeting her. Beam shared his version of the events on Twitter on Tuesday, saying that while he has been legally bound from discussing the matter, former Twitch employees sharing the incident on social media and discussing it with reporters has enabled him to now share his side of the story. The man behind the Dr. Disrespect persona with millions of followers said he was banned from Twitch in 2020 over a 2017 exchange with an individual that sometimes, quote, leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. He edited the word minor out of the initial version of the statement before adding it back in later after people noticed. According to Beam, no criminal charges were ever filed. He's got a big, long statement. The statement reads very much like one of the most entitled things I've ever read, Lucy, where he just like, yeah, I did this thing that is most people consider to be horrendous and bad, but I'm not going anywhere, and you should get over it. And like that's just the whole statement, basically. Kind of wild that he's out there just yelling about this on Twitter. What do you think?
I cannot believe, and this was happening when we were recording the Bombcast yesterday, and I would keep seeing it, and I was like, oh my god, he's tweeting through it. Oh my god, he's tweeting through it. Like, It's the fact that it opens with, let's cut the fucking bullshit, as you know there's no filter with me. An objectively hilarious way to kick this off.
You should have a filter when talking to minors, actually. Please.
I really think you should. Yeah, dude. What do you... I think first of all, as we talked about yesterday during the Bombcast, the way that he finds out he's been fired from 12 a.m. with the fucking Elden Ring music over the top. You couldn't write that.
Nope.
Like, if you couldn't write that. It's the timing on it. It's the slow motion, just like breathe out, and then it's the quick wrap up of probably the last stream of his life. It's the way that everything and everyone is distancing themselves from him. Like Turtle Beach went, the San Francisco 49ers went out this morning, like cut ties completely. And so, yeah, I know he's got a lot of people who don't like him already, like didn't enjoy his shtick. Like he almost gate crashed a stage that I was hosting in like 2019, just before he went and filmed in the bathroom. I actually think it was the bathroom that was right next to our stage. I'd have to go back and see if it double check if it was that one in his vlog. But I was talking to Rod Ferguson, and he like came up through the middle of the crowd and just started walking. and just like came and stood right in front of me on the stage and just like sort of stared at us. And so anyway, cool guy. That was my interaction with him. But right, let's be real here. At the end of the day, this is a minor. And I hope that person is doing okay, because surely the way that this has been handled previously, where it's like NDAs, no one knows what's going on. I assume the minor doesn't. Absolutely, like I really hope people don't go fucking digging and try and get their name and do all that kind of horrible shitty stuff.
Yeah, I think the presumption, or maybe people know, I haven't seen it said explicitly anywhere, that the reason we haven't heard about a lot of this is because it's at the wishes of the minor.
Yeah,
so,
and I hope people really, keep it that way. And I hope they're doing okay, because like at the time, people were trying to figure out that this was 2017. He was 35. This person, 17 roughly. Yeah, dude, that's like not even just messed up in terms of ages, but in terms of power dynamics. Like imagine if that's, oh hey, my favorite streamer is, oh god, yep. And he's married. I don't know if he had the kid back then, but like got a kid now. Oh god, awful. Awful.
Yep, it's the kind of thing where I think he's just like, it was a mistake. It's okay. And he says stuff like, I've grown a lot since then. I kind of don't want to hear any of that. I just want to hear like what I did was wrong, and I'm gonna like go away now. That's kind of what I need from this. And the fact that he is follows up all of that with, there's no fucking way I'm going away. You're gonna have to continue to deal with me. That is, it is frustrating, and it's like, well, it really doesn't feel like you've grown. Doesn't feel like you've learned anything. I guess what you're saying is you wouldn't DM a minor. I mean, man, at 35, that should have been a lesson long learned. How are you not just uncomfortable by like having like messages from kids? I'll have like kids reach out on the Discord, just like be like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, you're welcome to Discord. There you are, but you got to be in the public. You can't just DM me. Like you have to be, has to be all out here for everyone to see, please. And that's the way to handle it, I think. It's like, and that goes for kind of anybody really that you might have a power dynamic with. You can have small little conversations here or there where they're asking you questions about your job, and you can talk about it in a professional manner. And I think anytime it crosses over to anything personal, you got to have a firm line of that's not what's happening here. And so the idea that he was like, well, we're just having a little conversation, and it got a little inappropriate. That doesn't just happen. You are the adult in the situation. You guided it there, and you have to pay the price on this. And it just feels like he's not really. In fact, he got paid. So, which as he continues to point out,
he got paid out of the Twitch thing. I wonder. I mean, Robert Bowling's statement was, yikes. As in I've never seen someone in that kind of position of power just outright say, I haven't put this through legal, I haven't put this HR. Just basically like, if you text a minor, like you're out, which is like good on him for doing it, good on the company for ousting him.
Right. And I would bet that he has seen everything. So like,
100%.
And so he would know better than most exactly what it looks like. Yeah, and Robert Bowling, he was the other person that started Midnight Society with Dr. Disrespect before they cut ties with him. Yeah, he's going to take an extended vacation, he says, and then come back and continue to stream. That's going to be annoying when he comes back, because I'm sure he'll make a big deal out of it.
I'm sure he can go to Kick.
Yeah, 100%. Where is he streaming? Is he streaming on YouTube now? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I mean, but for how long?
Right. Probably on Kick going forward. All right. Let's see here. Breaking news. Let's see here. Someone just put this in the thing. Dead Rising Remastered is happening. You put this in here. Thank you so much. Let me take a look. All right. Let's see what they say here in a tweet from the Dead Rising Twitter account. Hello. Is this thing on? This is Frank. Frank West. Is anyone out there? Grab your camera and prepare for the big scoop on Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Stay tuned for more info soon. Does this video have any more information?
I haven't seen it, but I believe it is just it's the remaster. It's got a little clips.
HD
remaster.
Wow,
he looks good, man.
Yeah,
Frank?
Right. And there was, if people remember, there was an HD remaster released in 2016. This is the deluxe version of that. Yeah. So very cool. Dead Rising feels like one of those Capcom franchises that could come back in a real way at any time because they're in such a strong position with all their other games. They're probably looking for other stuff that can like join the parade of Monster Hunter and Resident Evil and now Dead what is it, or Dragon's Dogma, excuse me, Dragon's Dogma. It's like, well, yeah, Dead Rising could come out. That could easily be another one of these major franchises that could get to 5 million copies sold. So this might be a precursor to that. What do you think? Do you think that's something they might end up doing?
I think so. I mean, God, Capcom is on such a roll with new releases, but also looking at its back catalog and re-releasing stuff. So I'd be interested to see what they did do with Dead Rising. Because, I mean, Dead Rising 4 was what, 2013, 2014? Like, launch title?
It was early in the Xbox One, yes.
Yeah. I remember going to all the preview stuff for the new Xbox and playing, like, Rise, Son of Rome, and Dead Rising. So I think it would be, I just think it's neat. I think the world's ready.
I think so too. And I think that it's the kind of thing where Dead Rising Remaster is actually the one I most want to go back to anyhow, because I like the time mechanic of that first game the most. And I want to go back and play around with this. And then I hope we come out of it and a few months later, maybe a year or two later, like, and Dead Rising is back. Well, here's a real new one. So that would be very cool. Capcom, they're just firing on all cylinders. I would love to see what they would do with the new entry in this series. I think they would really be able to pull that off. All right. Speaking of Capcom, though, one of their games on iOS is not doing very well. In fact, no game is doing very well on iOS if it costs around $50. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. iOS ports of Resident Evil 4, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and Death Stranding sold poorly, estimates suggest. Apple's attempt to bring AAA console games to its iPhone and iPad devices appear to be off to a very slow start. According to analysis by mobilegamer.biz, based on estimates from App Figures, the iOS ports of Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage have failed to sell well, despite Apple featuring them during their keynote presentations in the past year. The games are only playable on high-end iPhone and iPad devices, meaning the potential audience size is smaller than the overall iPhone user base in the first instance. However, even with this in mind, App Figures estimates suggest that that while Assassin's Creed Mirage has been downloaded around 123,000 times, it only made around 138,000 gross revenue, given that the game is free to download, with players able to access a small part of the game before paying the $50 to unlock the $50 fee to unlock the rest of the game. This suggests that fewer than 3,000 people went on to buy the full game. Similar calculations based on App Figures estimates suggest that around 7,000 iOS users have paid for Resident Evil 4, 5,750 have paid for Village, and around 10,600 have paid for Death Stranding. Those aren't very good numbers, Lucy.
No.
I guess I'm not too surprised. I really had no way of gauging what to expect from these games going to mobile. I didn't think a lot of people would buy them, but I guess I didn't know if the number would be this small. This is like such a tiny number that it's not worth the time and effort that these companies probably put into it, right?
Yeah, God, it reminds me of, do you remember when they released Bioshock?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Bioshock on iOS, and then they quickly took it back. I think that price point is not so if you are, if you're a mobile phone user, I mean, in the world of 2024, most people are a mobile phone user. We're conditioned there for apps to be 99 cents. Like, maybe if you're paying for a yearly subscription for something like LastPass, then it's like, oh, I'll pay a $30 subscription, or I'll pay something like you don't look at one-off apps and think, oh, I'm gonna be paying $50. Like, it's just not how we've been conditioned to think or use that device. Also, it's kind of like the Nintendo Switch problem when it comes to third party, where it's like, I don't want to play the worst version of this game, but pay the same amount of price.
Yeah.
Let's say pay the same amount. Like Nintendo Switch third party stuff. Like, I'm not paying Apex Legends or Overwatch or Mortal Kombat on Switch, right? Because that's going to be a bad time, a bad experience. It's not going to look as nice as it can. With iOS, it's like, well, that's my small screen.
Yeah.
That's the screen that I check when there's a loading screen on my big screen. Or that's the screen, I don't want to be playing Resident Evil 4 and be like, oh shit, someone sent me a meme. I should double check that.
Exactly.
And also, my battery's not going to last that long. So I just don't understand. I mean, I can understand the fact that Apple definitely wants to get into the console, gets into the gaming AAA space. But yeah,
and this is using the same processor basically that's going to be in their computers. So if these games get ported to Mac, they can just basically work on the phone with not a lot of extra effort. So I think this is a byproduct of that. As the story mentioned, we mentioned this. Sean points out in chat. This is just iPhone 15 Pro, which would would be a smaller percentage of the audience. It would also be like the most affluent, I would guess. So the people most likely to pay a big fee for a game. But honestly, it feels like none of that really matters. What's happening here is, I think on Grubb Snacks early on, I did an episode of kind of like, there was a lot of talk about the cloud one week, and the issue with the cloud is like the last mile problem. And, the last mile problem in shipping is it's really cheap to ship stuff to like a city. Getting it to the person's door is actually by far the most expensive and the biggest hurdle to overcome. And I think a similar thing happens with cloud gaming, where the getting to people's houses is pretty cheap these days and effective, and it works. Getting someone to then be like, and I'm going to connect a controller to my TV and decide to play a game on there and then pay whatever price I have to pay to access that stuff, that is still a massive hurdle that these companies haven't figured out. And I think a lot of that is still going to happen with these games on mobile, even if they're running natively, where it's there and it's available, but considering getting the person to get over that last mile of paying a big fee to pay a game probably just isn't going to be something that they're going to be able to figure out really easily, and probably not at all. The people on phone are happy playing free-to-play games, and that's what they're used to. So I don't see that this changing this, and really this is kind of bad news for the gaming industry, because the whole idea here was making these games. We want to keep making games this way. We want to keep selling you big video games that you all claim to really like, but console sales aren't growing. And it's like we have the same audience there, so we need to start looking elsewhere for people who are willing to pay this price, and they might not exist. The people that are willing to pay $30 to $50 for a Resident Evil game, we might have found all of them already, and so the growth potential might not be there. And in this moment, that's got to be a little bit scary to these companies. This feels like a failed experiment. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. I know I'm in a privileged position where I have everything. I just would not play a game like that on my phone. Like if I wanted to play something 3D on my phone, I would be like, oh man, I would love to play like the original Resident Evil games. Like something. Actually, the only game that I want to play on my phone is Peggle.
Yeah.
Original Peggle.
Yep.
Put that on my phone.
And New York Times crossword games. Yeah.
Oh, big time. If I'm not ruining the day of at least 3 people at Kind of Funny with my mini score, then it's not even worth it.
Man, I was like, I should get in on that, but I don't need you destroying me every day. I don't need that in my life. She's very good at it, everybody.
I'm very good at it.
Yeah, I think that this probably is the kind of thing where they're like, okay, we tried to do what people claim that they want. Like, they want these games that are, big blockbusters and have an upfront cost. And this feels like the final gasp of, can we make that work on another device that looks like a phone? And maybe I don't know, maybe things change, and as more of these games, as these games are available on more iOS devices, this stuff is like, oh well, now that the bigger audience is there, they are buying these games. Maybe that does change, but I feel like what really is going to happen here is these companies are like, you know what, we tried. If we're going to be on mobile, we're going to have to adapt it for mobile, and that means free to play with microtransactions, and the games are not going to feel like they did traditionally, and they're going to have to be very different. So, yeah, I think that's kind of all she wrote for this sort of kind of gaming on mobile devices. All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we have a lot more headlines to get into, including maybe a new way to play those original Resident Evil games.
Oh.
All right, that's the wrong button, everybody. I mean, go back to my black. There we go. All right, actually, hang on. We're going to take just a quick break because this kid needs something. What's up?
Okay.
No, I'm in the middle of shooking. I'll help you when I'm done. All right, we're going to come back now. Here we go. All right, we are back, and let's get back into it. With the original Resident Evil comes to PC in all of its unremastered glory. This is from Michael McWhirter at Polygon. The original Windows PC version of Capcom's Resident Evil is now available through digital storefront GOG, letting PC players experience the groundbreaking survival horror classic as it was back in 1996. PC versions of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis are also getting a re-release through GOG, the company announced Wednesday. This is pretty neat. I have a million ways to play these games, and yet this still like piqued my interest. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Maybe I will play those. I don't remember how these games ran on PC. I don't know if there's issues with them. I mean, GOG always does the work to make sure they're the best version possible, usually. But I wonder if it's like, actually, you should probably just play an emulated version of the PlayStation game instead. But either way, this is neat. I think there's some exclusive stuff in the PC version of Resident Evil 1, maybe costumes. I could be making that up, but I thought I remembered that. What do you think about this, Lucy? Is this something where you're like, oh, maybe I'll play those games now as you're, Mrs. PC Gamer?
Mrs. PC Gamer. You know what? I will not play them because I think I'm at the point now where I'm kind of looking forward a little bit too much. There are so many games. We were recording FPS, and Ralph was like, "Oh my god, there's nothing coming out for the next 2 months until like Outlaws and Frostpunk 2." And I was like, "Bitch, have you seen my wish list? Like all the Lucy games are coming out. Like Fields of Mysteria? Thank goodness you're here. Like all these games are coming out over the next couple months." So I'm just like, I'm looking ahead. Also, just because I'm not playing them doesn't mean that I don't think this is fantastic. And I think places like GOG are really putting in the work to make sure that all of these old games are not only able to be like preserved, but like purchased. And I'm sure they're doing the work to make it like playable and run the best that they can. So good job, GOG. Good job, Capcom. Yeah. And also like I'm excited for folks like, like Sphere Hunter.
Yeah.
Because like she loves Resident Evil stuff so much. Like I would be excited to watch Susie play. Right. Rather than play it myself. And
it's kind of thing where it's like, and because this is happening, maybe there'll be more interest there, and so Susie can benefit from that as well. Yeah, that's exactly what I get out of a lot of these announcements, where it's just nice to know people will be paying attention to these games a little bit more than they were. Of course, I was playing these games on whatever device I have laying around me. It's not usually about that. It's just about sort of the zeitgeist around them getting a slight boost, and I appreciate that. Fortnite Reload is an apology to sweaty streamers, and it's amazing, says Phil Owen at GameSpot. Fortnite Reload, a new version of Battle Royale in the vein of Call of Duty Warzone's Resurgence mode, came out of nowhere this past weekend. A surprising shot in the arm to a game that's needed one badly after the launch of the vehicle-oriented summer season fell flat for a lot of players. In particular, with folks who prefer build mode. That included many prominent streamers who struggled to adapt to the all-new changes in Chapter 5, Season 3 that were at odds with the normal build mode playstyles. Reload feels like Epic's constructed as quickly as possible response to the poor season launch, and while I'd love to be annoyed that it seemingly hacked something together so quickly to appease streamers, Fortnite Reload is so much fun, and such a dramatic change of pace from Fortnite norms that I'm pretty sure I'm in love. Epic got this one right. The reason why Fortnite Reload works is because this idea is a good one that Epic has probably been pondering for a while. Call of Duty's Warzone's Resurgence was created as a sort of bridge between standard Call of Duty Deathmatch and the battle royale of Warzone, allowing players to automatically respawn after they die, so long as they have living teammates. It was a great hybrid between the modes of Call of Duty, the best of both worlds. Fortnite's version of this is fairly simple. It's squads only with a maximum of 40 players, has a loot pool of weapons and items from Chapter 1 through 4. It takes place on a compressed version of the Fortnite OG map from last November, populated with familiar spots like tilted towers, and without much wilderness in between the towns. With a smaller map, the fighting tends to be hot from the second you hit the ground, but the stakes of these fights are lower as long as your teammates survive for 30 seconds after you die. That sounds cool. I know a lot of people do like that Warzone equivalent mode. So yes, this is something I might want to check out. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it sounds really fun. I only really play Fortnite with you guys.
Right, exactly.
And also I'm not really, I haven't played Warzone so much since, I played it a lot in 2020, but this sounds really fun. I'm Man, am I gonna get into Fortnite?
It
No,
happens
I'm
to
not.
everybody.
No, I'm not.
Okay, all
You know,
right.
I thought about it. I'm not. I
I'm
don't
glad
have
we went on that
time.
journey with you.
Yeah. No, but I would play it for like, you know, Nikki and Sean are going nuts in the chat and like really enjoying it. I definitely play with you all. I just don't have it in me to devote time to a continuous game right now. Maybe that'll change.
Yeah. I know what
I
you
think
mean.
this sounds really fun. I like professional Fortnite return, says Jan. I don't know. I was gonna say something embargoed that I can't say.
Okay.
But
You saved yourself. Well done.
I saved myself. No. Sounds fun. I'm happy for the Fortnite players.
Yeah, me too. And honestly, part of like reading this, I'm like, should I also go check out more Call of Duty Warzone Resurgence? Maybe that'd be fun too. But yeah, I got my Nicki Minaj skin in there, and I got plenty of skins in Fortnite.
Well, I'm gonna say like who would? I mean, they've got Alan Wake is in there. I would play as Alan Wake just because I think that's funny.
Well, that's always
hit the gritty as
yes.
Alan Wake.
Yeah, that's honestly what Fortnite still is for me. Just having characters that look familiar do dumb stuff. I always appreciate that. Indiana Jones in a little train. What's that?
We got to get Dib back.
We will.
That was a fun stream.
Bring your Dib to work day. We'll do another one of those. Of course, that was really good. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move along here. Forza Horizon 4 to be delisted by the end of the year. This is from Marcus Persson at Game Reactor. The now 5-year-old Forza Horizon 4 has reached the end of the road and will disappear from all digital platforms at the end of the year. This is announced by Microsoft and Playground Games, who, due to license rights, cannot or will not continue to keep the title alive. Already today,
this is the British one.
I think this is England, yeah, right? Right.
No. Oh, yeah. Wow.
I remember just going through rocky fences, just driving through all like these pebblestone fences and just having them explode in front of me. I really like that. Yeah, this happens with all the Forza games. It seems to be a car licensing issue. They license real world automobiles, and they can only do that for so long before these companies ask for the same amount of money, I suppose, which makes it prohibitively expensive. I
also wonder soundtrack too.
Soundtrack for sure, yes. But there's a lot of games with soundtracks. It's like it feels like this always happens to Forza and other car games, and it must just be the way that this works with automobile licensing. So yeah, it stinks. I wish it didn't work this way. I wish there was some workaround, some standard that they could adopt to be like, yeah, listen, let people keep buying it. Is it really hurting your cars or anything like that? I guess they just want to get paid though.
They do just want to get paid.
I don't know. Part of me is like, get paid by selling fucking cars. Like, who cares about the way it looks in a video game? Whatever. I mean, I guess if I made it, I would want to get paid too.
Well, isn't the car selling business industry not doing so hot at the moment?
Right now, yes. It was very hot like a year and a half ago, and now it's very not. Yes. So I drive by a dealership often, and it is jam packed with unsold cars. And I live right next to a Ford dealership. And they actually, when things were hot, they had a massive amount of inventory sitting around, and now they don't. And I'm like, what? Okay, so are they selling all those? It's like, no, I think they're just making fewer vehicles, so they're just like holding back, so trying to stimulate demand. It's weird out there. I kind of wish I needed to buy a car right now. I don't, so I'm not going to. But it's like now would be the time to do it. All right. Sorry, PlayStation players. Insomniac just shot down a request for a port of Sunset Overdrive. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. It's no secret that Insomniac Games likes to keep itself busy. Since the launch of Marvel's Spider-Man, the studio has also released the standalone Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Prior to the hit of Spider-Man, Insomniac has made a fun action game known as Sunset Overdrive. At the moment, you can only play Sunset Overdrive on Xbox and PC, but a recent post from Insomniac showed off the game once more. This led to one fan asking if we could see the game remastered for PS4/PS5, to which Insomniac responded that they're busy working on Marvel's Wolverine. Considering Marvel's Wolverine is going to give us another superhero game based on one of our favorite comic book characters, we can't really complain, but maybe one day we could see a return to Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, at a certain point, like, Insomniac can't do everything, right?
No.
They're one of the most prolific studios of the last several years. They have a way to keep games coming out. But that probably part of that is not getting distracted by other side projects that maybe wouldn't have as big of a return. I liked Sunset Overdrive, Lucy. I didn't love it. How do you feel about it?
It was the same. It didn't leave that much of a mark on me, but maybe I didn't give it a fair shake back in the day, but that was 11 years ago.
Yeah, I reviewed it, and I remember being like, yeah, this is good. I just didn't fall in love with it the way some people did.
Yeah. But also, I mean, who owns the rights to it? Is it Xbox?
It seems like it is with Insomniac. It seems like Insomniac does have it, and they could put it on PlayStation if they wanted to, is the way I last understood it.
I mean, look, I think at this point, PlayStation are just going to go for the hits. My Fringe is having an absolute nightmare.
No, it's great.
Thanks. No, I slept on it funny. But yeah, they're going to be going for the hits at this point, and those hits are going to be Marvel. So
yeah, I mean,
Sunset Overdrive. How much did Sunset Overdrive sell?
Not a ton. Yeah, just like all those like Xbox exclusives that came out in that generation, they didn't do great.
Under $2 million.
Yeah, okay. Well, listen, Spider-Man does like 30 million, so that's the difference. And we know Insomniac very busy. You said we're working on Marvel. They're working on Wolverine, and then we saw in the leak they're making a Venom spin-off, a standalone game of Venom, and then they're going to be making the X-Men games. So they have a lot on their plate for the next 10 years. I think the way that you can keep up with that is, again, don't get distracted by something like Sunset Overdrive. That said, maybe they could always work with an external team to port that to PS4, PS5. That could still happen. Who knows? We'll see. UFC star Conor McGregor says he's in a new video game with an announcement coming this week, according to McGregor, who doesn't always seem to know what's going on. This is from Kyle Knight at DualShockers. In a now deleted tweet, UFC superstar Conor McGregor announced that he would be starring in a video game, with an announcement for the mystery title coming, quote, this week. Yesterday evening, in classic McGregor fashion, the mixed martial artist went on a tweeting tangent. McGregor took aim at his previous opponent, Dustin Poirier, in a series of malicious tweets, while also slipping in that he'd been starring in a yet-to-be-announced video game. The star has since deleted the tweet. McGregor has appeared in multiple EA Sports UFC games. He shocked fans around the world back in 2016 when he appeared in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare as Captain Bradley Fillion. The action-packed first-person shooter didn't just bag Conor McGregor, though, as the title also featured various Hollywood stars such as Kit Harington, David Hasselhoff, and Seth Green. What the really? That's fucking what? David Hasselhoff?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that. The Hoff.
Doesn't Conor McGregor suck?
He sucks. Yes, that's what I was going to get to. Well, he sucks. Yeah. He stinks. But I do wonder if this is just a UFC game, or is he in another thing? Is he going to be in Are they making a video game based on a Roadhouse? He was in that movie. He was good in that movie because his character was supposed to suck. So whenever he showed up on screen, and I'm like, this dude sucked. He exuded so much of that energy that it worked for the character.
Suck energy?
Yes, just massive suck energy. It kind of ruled.
Yeah. Okay.
But hey, he is someone out there who just does a lot of talking. Seems like he might, like I said, not always know what's going on. So he might not even be referring to something that is real or ever going to become a real project. Maybe it's a conversation that his agent had and it didn't actually pan out. I would take this with a grain of salt, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's going to be back in Call of Duty.
Yep.
All right. Last story here. Atari 50 getting 39 new free games as part of the expanded edition. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection, originally launched in 2022, giving players access to 103 games from the classic Atari machines, including the Atari 2600, 5200, 7800, and more. A free update in 2023 added 12 more games. Now in 2024, the expanded edition brings a whopping 39 new titles to the collection, and it adds 2 new timelines, the first console war and the wider world of Atari. For any interested video game historian, this will feature old adverts, interviews, and artifacts. This is really cool. I'm very excited about this. So this is like a neat way to keep up with this thing. Is this something that you've checked out before?
No, Atari was kind of a little bit before my time. Did not really have much experience with it as a kid. So no. But I'm very, again, like the Capcom stuff, very happy for folks who do get to play and experience it.
Yeah, I am... I wish I was keeping up with all of these that were coming out, because they've done this, they've done the making of Karateka, and then they did the the Llamasoft one, Jeff Mentor one, and that one I haven't even touched, and I didn't finish. I didn't finish the Karateka one either. So it's like I love these ideas. I hope that they're able to keep doing them, and I hope that they're like, by going back to Atari 50, they're going to give us another boost, and they're able to like carry this stuff forward. I do worry that it's like, it maybe if they keep doing worse than the previous one, that they're like, okay, well, you know, Atari 50 was cool, but maybe this is an idea that won't last. I'm afraid of that, because I think this is such a good idea that I hope they're able to do it with the bigger games and stuff that people really care about these days, so that they can have a really breakout hit of like, this is a cool historical document that really dives into stuff that I really care about. They're not going to get Nintendo, right? But I think there's a world in which they could get Sega or something like that. That would be very cool.
I think so. And yeah, I mean, we've had Xbox come out and say that preservation is more important, and like having people be able to play these old games. And I really hope that that is an ethos that is being adopted industry wide. And, you know, if the stuff like the Atari 50 can be a success, then I hope a lot of the other companies see it and realize, hey, we can do something cool here.
They're releasing the expanded edition as I think a new physical game, and it's coming out the 25th of October for everything. It'll come out for everything. And as Cham points out, they own Intellivision now, so that will probably be a part of the first console war timeline that they're putting into the game. So very cool.
Yep.
All right. That does it for the news. I have a poll question here that we'll get to in a second, but while I'm getting that set up, Lucy James, why don't you tell people what you have going on, where they can find you, and all that good stuff?
This week, Star Players is out with Monet Exchange. Please go watch it. It's very fun. That is every Monday on GameSpot. So we've got Dominic Monaghan next week, and I think Steve-O the week after. And then we recorded Jeff's Bizarre Adventure yesterday. That should be going up today or tomorrow. A very fun couple of episodes. I think the series is finally, as in JoJo's, not Jeff. Jeff's has been firing on all cylinders the whole time.
From the beginning.
But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is definitely like hitting its groove, and we are really, really digging it. And then the rest of the week, I am figuring out some stuff, like to make as things are a little bit quiet.
Yeah, it feels like you kind of got on the other side of Star Players here a little bit. You've recorded everything for that, right? Like
one more to go.
One more to go. Okay.
One more to go.
But mostly behind you, and also like the industry overall slowing down after we get past Summer Game Fest, and feels like the way the news is going the last couple of days, so like everyone's on vacation and not getting a lot of press releases. Quiet is the right way of putting it. I'm going to take advantage of that, because I am mostly, is it next week? Yeah, next week I'm off, right?
Next week.
Yeah.
I am taking the 4-day, if I'm taking the 4-day weekend on July 4th. I've got Ben staying for the next few days. I need to make a sign to pick him up from the airport.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
How close to the gate can you get these days? I guess you have to like be at that little area at SFO or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to find out actually what time his flight gets in. Doing that, we're hanging out, and then I've got Comic-Con coming up and Gamescom as well, Lex. I've got Gamescom, so we've got big stuff coming up. But yeah, I'm honestly super stoked that it's a bit quiet.
Me too. It's I was like, oh, this would be a perfect time to catch up on stuff. And then, of course, all I'm doing is playing Elden Ring. That's fine. That's totally acceptable. Yeah. I'm okay with that. All right. Yeah. I got the poll question. Let's do it.
All right.
How are you finding the difficulty of Shadow of the Erd Tree? You know what? Let's refresh this one more time. We do have a double response there, but that's fine. We'll just put them all together. Let's see here. 2% say they find it easier than base Elden Ring. 18% say it's about the same as base Elden Ring. That's where I'm at. 26% say it's more difficult than the base Elden Ring. And then 54% are not playing Shadow of the Erd Tree. Yeah, that sounds about right based on the responses that there's a lot of people out there that are like, yes, this is more difficult. But then that's just like half. And the other half is like, this is the same or easier. Okay, no, only 2% are saying it's easier. Those are probably trolls. Yeah, for me, I was totally fine with the difficulty. It's challenging. I was breezing through some of these bosses, and of course, I'm using Mimic Tier. I am taking advantage of the tools it gives me, which of course but now I'm at Mesmer and I'm struggling. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm glad that I finally got a boss that is going to be something I really will have to download and learn before I can overcome it. So that's been kind of a relief almost. But we'll see. I'm going to try to avoid updating and making it too easy. All right. New poll question we have right here. Have you beaten Shadow of the Erdtree yet? I'm curious to see how people are breezing through this thing or not. Yes, no, or I haven't started playing it. We will get the results of that for Game Mess Mornings on the show tomorrow. In the meantime, though, Lucy James, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games. I really appreciate it.
Of course. A pleasure.
If you're watching live on Giant Bomb, we will have some stuff on the site today. No Blight Club. Blight Club is on hold while Dan recovers. He really is trying to put off having to get back to his games, even though he's far away. He's just cowardly, and he's afraid of Drake and the 99 Nights. I think that's what that game's called. He's got some real stinkers coming his way. In the meantime, though, we'll it might not be a Delight Club. I'm sure we're probably calling it something else. We're going to do that Chained Together game. We're going to play that today on the site.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm going to get wrapped up with, I think it's myself, Jan, Nikki, and Turbo Sean. And we're going to play that game. It's going to be a good time. And then Jeff's is coming. Tomorrow we'll have Voicemail Dump Truck. Friday we'll have Unprofessional Fridays and a BCR, a Power Bombcast. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, though, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until then, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. Yeah, we can play Fortnite for UPF. That sounds fun.